Today I had another beautiful conversation with my grandmother. We talked about something that has always fascinated me, the way spirit communicates with us and how these connections are so deeply embedded in our family. Whenever I call my grandmother, I ask her if she had any visits from my mom or my grandpa in her dreams. I love hearing her stories, especially when she shares the experiences she had with them. Sometimes she's unsure whether those are real or just dreams, but I always encourage her to tell me because I believe in them. She knows I value these conversations and that I believe our dreams can be powerful gateways to spirit. She also doesn't know I'm a psychic medium. Today she shared a beautiful memory with me. She told me how years ago my mom would arrive at her log house, and despite never telling my grandmother in advance when she was coming, she always knew. My grandmother would go outside and stand on the road leading to her house just before my mom would appear. It wasn't anything that could be explained logically, but it was something my grandmother trusted, an inner knowing that guided her every time. It made me reflect on how the connection with spirit runs so deeply, so strongly on my mom's side of the family. My grandmother also talked about the special bond she had with her own mother, my great-grandmother, who lived in a different town. Even though they were apart, my grandmother always knew when something was wrong or when her mother needed her. She also knew when my great-grandmother was on her way to visit her. This bond, this deep intuitive connection, is something I have always felt, especially with my mom. I just knew when something was happening with her, no matter where I was. It's as if our hearts were linked, even across space and time. And since my mom has crossed over, I truly believe our hearts are still linked across space. Even though she's no longer physically here, I feel her presence guiding me every day. I know she connects with me from the other side, offering wisdom and love, just as she did when she was here. A powerful memory I always carry with me is how when my mom was crossing over, she came through me in telepathy. In that sacred space between life and death, she connected with me and dictated goodbye letters to various family members. And it was a way for her to make sure that her love and final messages were passed on. I knew it was her guiding me through that moment. One of the most touching stories my grandmother shared with me today was about the time my great-grandmother visited her in the middle of the night after she had passed. My great-grandmother woke her up and made her sit down, dictating a series of poems for her to write. It was such a clear and undeniable sign that spirit was really communicating through her, but she's still very reluctant to believe that this is real. So just like when my mom came to me during her crossing, I knew it was her speaking to me. She guided me. I find it so beautiful that despite all the way spirit communicates with my grandmother, she still ends our conversations by saying, I don't really believe in that, but I'll find out for myself once I cross over. It reminds me that even though we may not always understand the experiences we have, it doesn't make them any less real. And I believe that one day she will see for herself the magic and truth in these encounters. Are you aware of any intuitive gifts that run through in your family? Maybe you've had similar experiences with dreams or strong connections to loved ones, even if they have crossed over. I would love to hear your stories in the comments. Okay, bye.